Welcome back, and today we are going to be taking a look at the pack sale, 50% off for some of the top tier premiums. Some of these are incredible, some are kind of mid, and some of these are just, please don't buy them. And we're going to start off with the Mirage F1C 200. Now this thing is honestly pretty damn solid. The only issue is that they just added its competition, and it's the NF5A. Personally, I think that this is a better grinder, as it's just a better F5C. Better missiles, better engines, and it's overall a blast to play. But it won't go on sale until 3 patches from now, so I'm not even sure if it goes on sale when the Christmas sales roll out. So you might have to wait for another year until you can finally pick something up. So if you are impatient and you really want to play the Ravioli or the Mirages, I would say, yeah, the Mirage F1C is a pretty good grinder, but if you are patient enough and money really is tight on you, I would say wait for the NF5A. The issue is we're not sure if this thing goes up and beyond, whereas the F1C is a lot more solid, as it won't probably move anymore, as it's been solidly embedded into the matchmaker. So this is a sure pick. It's a good grinder. Be careful with the 530s, the 530Fs. They are not that great. They're very easily chaffed, very easily fooled. The only real thing here is some mid-flight performance and 2 Magic 2s, which are pretty hard to flare, especially if you don't know what you're doing, and people that don't know what they're doing are pretty common at 12.0. Next up is going to be the J7D. Now the J7D is honestly pretty solid. It's one of the better premiums that you can get, especially with the new 10.7 BR it got a little bit ago, and honestly I cannot recommend this thing enough if you want to get to Chinese top tier. Is Chinese top tier worth it, however? I personally don't think it is, but it is very diverse. You have a Mirage, you have a J10, you have an F16, you have a J8F, you have a J87, and you have flankers. And the J11B is honestly one of the better flankers that you can play. So it is very diverse, but don't expect meta-defining vehicles. But if you want to grind the Chinese nation, the J7D is absolutely fantastic. Then next up is the SU-29. I'm not even going to tap into the game. This thing is absolute horseradish, and I would just completely void it. Especially for Era B, Tanker B, you might get some funny results with the Vickers, but in Era B, this is basically a waste of money. Then we have the MiG-21 Bison. And the Bison is honestly also pretty good if you want to grind British top tier. Now the Bison is pretty good. You have R27s, you have R73s, you have a decent radar, and the flight performance, while definitely mid at 12.3, is manageable considering the missiles and the HMD that it gets. Are there some planes worth picking up? Definitely. Gripen, Typhoon, and that is really it. If you want the lower tier stuff as well, if you want to play the British tech tree, the Bison is a great grinder, mostly because the alternatives are just all mid. The F4 junk is ass, the Harrier T10 is not it, the FGA is kind of okay, but it's not even available and it's only rank 6. Harrier GR1 is complete dog shit, and the Lightning F53, while manageable, I wouldn't recommend buying it, and then you're all the way back down to rank 5. So if you do care about anything above rank 5, the Bison I think is a great pickup. Although don't expect it to have great flight performance, don't expect it to be a carry mobile, but in terms of being a missile slinger, it is definitely a good grinder. Next up is the A10A. Personally, I would say don't pick it up. It is a decent ground pounder. The issue is that in Era B, by the time you get to the ground units, the game is essentially over because the matches last about 4 minutes right now. Everyone will be 20 kilometers ahead of you, and by the time you get to do your thing, the game is probably already won or lost. So I would say skip this one. It's only rank 6 anyway, and there are just better options there. Then we have the Saab J37DI Viggen. Now this is a bit of a... how do I go about it? I would say that this thing is not very good. Terrible flight performance, on par if not worse than the Phantom. It's basically an F4F ICE that has been nurtured down, and you don't have real data link. At least you didn't. Right now, it's a decent grinder if you want to get top tier Sweden, because you have 4 MRAMs. You can sling them out. You get potential down tiers. If you get up tiers, you only see 4 14.0s. So yes, it is flyable, but I would highly suggest you to not pick this thing up, just due to the fact that there's really nothing to grind here. Yes, you have the Vigans, you have the Saab. I would just get the Saab J25 XS when it goes on sale instead. Also because the Hornets as well as the Gripen, well, you can get them in different tech trees. You can get the Typhoon here together with the Gripen from the Bison, and you can get Hornets in essentially every nation right now. So I would say skip the J37D. People are gonna hate me for it, but it's just what it is. Then we have the F4S, and the F4S used to be a fantastic grinder. Except, well, it's a bit of a boat right now. Now, this is a missile bus. It is a 12.0. A lot of people don't know how to defeat your missiles. It is a decent grinder because you have 4, maybe 5 if you want to, AIM-7Fs. And you have some AIM-9Hs. You have a gunport that does decent damage, but the flight performance doesn't exist. I would say skip this one. I don't think it's a fantastic plane. But if you're just looking for a consistent grinder where your individual input doesn't really matter, and you can kind of just slam your head against the wall until you finally get the plane you want, it is a decent pickup. But personally, I would opt for either the F20A, only 0.3 higher over BR, and it's just a much better platform, or perhaps even the F-18C early. Now, whether you pick this one or this one, I would go with the F-20A. That is just me personally. This one does get more missiles, however, so if you are looking for more of a missile buzz approach, you can't really go wrong with either, but I would personally go for the F-20 if I were a newer-ish player. But the F-18C early is more of that missile sling fest. It is a higher BR as well though, so you are going to be able to see 13.7, and the gap between 13.3 in the full up tier and 13.7 in the full up tier is actually pretty noticeable. And now at 12.3, if you get fully up tiered, you see a maximum of 4 13.3s, which is somewhat manageable, and down tiers will be more common because you will be sucked into that 12.0 matchmaker a lot more frequently. Next up is going to be the Wyvern, and this thing is a no-brainer, especially if you love props. It's absolutely busted. You get an airspan, it goes 650 kilometers an hour on the deck. That's 1200 rounds of 20 mils. It's pretty unique, so if you are looking for a unique experience, even at 4.7, this thing is absolutely criminal. Now, don't expect it to be the best dogfighter. It is a bit of a boat. It loses a lot of speed very quickly in the turns. But in terms of grinding, airspan, fast, decent climb, a hell of a lot of ammo with guns that do pretty good damage. In terms of a grinder, fantastic plane. Used to be one of my favorites, but it's also really annoying to play. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's both very annoying and very fun, and it's both very good and sometimes incredibly frustrating because all you can do is run and push head-ons. And you are a boat. This thing is prone to be set on fire by a singular 50 cal, so don't say I didn't warn you. It is a great plane though, and definitely worth picking up. Then we have the Mustang D20, not even gonna go into the match or into the game. This thing is trash. It's a D5 essentially. Don't pick it up. It's not a great grinder. All it has is top speed and 50 cals. Then we have the Aviate-B Night Attack Pack, and again, I would just skip this thing. It's there are better premiums here. I would get the F20 over it even. But, there's one but. The Aviate-B NA is of course 11.0. And, well, you get decent missiles or AIM-9Ls. But that's all you have. You don't have radar missiles. You only have IR. And you're gonna have to just kind of climb to orbit and try to top down and dive. In terms of ground RB, this thing is, I believe, quite a bit better. But I can't really comment on that as I barely ever play that, especially at the higher BRs. And I know the screen goes black from time to time. That's when I tap out and in. Then we have the AMX A1. Now this is a bit of a joke because we have the AMX in the Italian tech tree. This one is 10.7 and this one is 11.0. So we are looking at the Ma-1 Piranha air-to-air missiles, and these are incredibly agile, but they don't have a lot of range. The AIM-9Ls are maneuverable enough, and the extra maneuverability that the Piranhas offer don't really come into clutch ever, because you have to put your nose on the target anyway, considering you don't have a radar. You don't have a HMD, so you have to put your nose on them anyway. So the difference between the The Piranha at close range, being able to pull in and not being able to pull in, will barely ever make a difference. So the AIM-9L is a better missile, considering it has almost double the range. And then we have the guns. The DEFAs are not better than the, well, the Vulcan whatsoever. The Vulcan is just the better gun. So you are honestly, you are paying for a downgrade. Ground ordnance is the same, if I recall correctly. This one even has more ground options. So you are literally paying for a worse plane at a higher BR. I would say skip this thing. Haven't played the Sniper yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But again, this thing also won't go on sale for a little bit. But at the same time, I don't think you really need to get the Italian tech tree. Everything in here is located in different nations. Now, if you do want to fly a very diverse lineup, just like with the Chinese one, you can of course pick something up here and try to just grind the top tiers, because you have a MiG-29, you have an F-16, you have a Tornado if you so desire, AV-8s, F-2000 and a Gripen, you have a MiG-23s, you have MiG-21s, you have F-104s, you have Su-22s, you have a bit of everything. So yes, Italian tech tree is very diverse, but the AMX-1 A1A is simply just not it. And then lastly, we have the AV-8S Matador. And this one, in my opinion, is also just terrible. You are looking at the 9.7 AV-8S, which has AIM-9Ps, which are basically AIM-9Js that you can radar slave, but it doesn't have a radar. And one thing that the Harrier makes... what makes the Harrier so annoying to fight is the AIM-9Gs. They have good range, decent maneuverability, because the plane is honestly pretty slow. It needs some energy in the missile in order to fly pretty far, and the AIM-9Ps just don't have the range. The AIM-9Gs that you will find on the British version will go double the range, or the AV-8As in the American, or the AV-8C. These are okay, because they have AIM-9Gs. Good range missile, you can catch people off guard, you can touch people from across the map. Whereas with the AIM-9Ps, this just doesn't really happen. So you are just looking for a Harrier where its only saving grace, which were the missiles, are going to be taken away because the missiles don't have any range. And then on top of that, yes, you do not have countermeasures at 9.7, meaning that you are literally just a worse AV-8C. Because this one does have countermeasures. There you go, chaff and flare. And it's just not located on the Japanese one. So you are just looking for an absolute dead in the water experience. I would not recommend it. When it comes to the tanks, I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. Someone in the comments is sure to let you know. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to support me by using my link in the description. Hope it was helpful. And I will see you all very soon again with a Mirage 3S video.